Welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly, and on my channel I focus on food, growing it, preparing it, and preserving it. I do 3 videos a week. On Tuesdays, I do a cook with me video where I just cook, and I usually do meals that are highly nutritious, highly delicious, and super simple to make. You can usually get them on the table in under 30 minutes from start to serve. On Fridays, I do a freeze dry video, all about freeze drying. And I have a playlist for my Tasty Tuesday and a playlist for my Freeze Dry Friday. So if you're interested in just one of those, feel free to check out my playlists. On Sunday, mostly it's garden related stuff, sometimes food preservation stuff, sometimes farm and market stuff, or dog related stuff. It's kind of a Sunday Funday mix. For today's Sunday video, it's going to be a bit of a garden and a bit of a kitchen video. This has been an anomaly from a weather perspective, 2024. This has been the year, hi sweetie, this has been the year of the never ending heat wave. It has been, I live in upstate New York and we have relatively mild summers, nice summers, 75, 80 degrees. We started in the 90s in April this year. Actually, I think we even had some 90-degree weather in March. And that has just continued and continued and continued. The last couple of weeks, we've even been in the hundreds. The humidity has been 75 to 90%. We've had tornado warnings in the last week. We couldn't even go outside for the last couple of days. The wind, the hail, and torrential downpour. So my garden looks different than it has ever looked. It's insane. Things that should be growing haven't fruited. Things that I'm surprised are already fruiting are out of control. I've got blackberry bushes that are sprawling across the lawn. It never happened before. So it's an anomaly this year. Well, I took the opportunity when I had a little bit of a break. I work from home and I went outside and oh my goodness, if you have watched any of my planting videos, seed starting videos, garden videos, you know that I absolutely love to grow zucchini. And I can't do it. I can't do it because I get infested with the cucumber beetle. They don't even mess with my cucumbers, but they mess with my squash. I will plant 10 or 20 squash plants, and I'm lucky if I get 2 or 3 fruits, and I end up having to buy from the farmer's market. Not this year. This year, I went out there today, and it was a shock. I have zucchini to pick. I have zucchini that is well past its prime. So we're going to go out. I'm going to show you what I've got, and I'm going to bring the zucchini in, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it because some of them are massive. I think I saw some that are still, people food quality, but the ones that are too big, I'm just going to shred those down, and I'm going to, get them in the freezer where I can use them for zucchini muffins or zucchini bread, but more likely I will end up freeze drying those, and I will add them into my weekly rotation for the dog food that I make. But let's go take a look. I am super excited. I still have flowers on them. There is no bacterial wilt disease on these plants at all. They are thriving. I have absolutely no idea why. I saw one cucumber beetle 2 weeks ago while my family was here. And it was on the cucumber plant, but the cucumber plant is fine too. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on the garden, and then we're going to get those zucchinis picked. I also want to grab my calendula flowers. I didn't check on those today. Hopefully I still have enough of those because I'm going to be harvesting calendula. I would like to make some calendula moisturizer, some calendula infused oil, and I will do that on a future video. But first I need to collect the flowers and get them dried out. So today we are picking yellow and green squash and some calendula flowers. So let's go in the garden. Here we are just off of my house. I've got my strawberry bed over there. Over here, this is mostly green beans. These are my dragon tongue bush beans in here. I'm not seeing a whole lot of flowers on those yet, but they look pretty green and healthy. And then down at the end here, I have my cucumber plants. So let me give you a close-up on those. Oh, these things grow fast. So I definitely have one there. Got a few little ones growing in there. If I go around to the other side, I'm sure I'll see more. I had intended to trail these all the way up my trellis here, but things have gotten away from me in the last week, and these things are just growing exponentially. They look really healthy. I see a little bit of some dead leaves right there. That could be the weather. could be the cucumber beetle, but I still have tons of flowers on these. And since cucumbers produce fruit and they mature so quickly, I'm sure we're going to be just fine. Down here, I've got my blueberry plants. They did have fruit on them. The fruit is gone. I think the birds picked that off. Behind here, on the other side of this trellis, I have my raspberry bushes, and they're still flowering beautifully. And I also have my blackberry, which is out of control. They have grown and meshed in here with the raspberry. But look at all this goodness in here. Look at all these berries. I am just loaded with blackberries. They're everywhere. They're hanging down. They're beautiful. Hi, Sky. So much fruit in here, just all over the place. It's absolutely stunning. Got some that are almost ripe to pick. That one looks like it is. A couple more over here. So we're going to be picking blackberries here in the not too distant future. And then here again are my dragon tongue bush beans. I've got a little cilantro plant here. I'm letting that go to seed so I can collect seeds from that. And then we definitely have some cucumbers growing back here as well. Lots of them. Looks like we've got a couple worth picking right here. So I will grab those. Over here, I have a tomato plant that is just in a grow bag. And he's doing great. He's got a lot of fruit on him. Of course, they're green. It's too early in the season for them not to be green. And on the other side of the raspberries, first, I have a hibiscus plant that is just starting to bloom. Look at that gorgeous hibiscus. Beautiful. On this wall of my garden, I've got some, I don't know what these flowers are. I just don't know the name of them. They shipped to me for free because I had ordered some plants from someplace and they messed up. So they sent me a whole bunch more. But I also have some hollyhock back here that's self-seeded from last year that just got stepped on by the dogs, as well as right here. And then these big plants right here are my elderberry flowers. They were loaded with fruit. I had lots of clusters of fruit or lots of clusters of blossoms, and now they are turning into little berries. So I will be thrilled to pick those once they're ready, if I can get to them before the birds get to them. The blackberry bush that I said is out of control, that's here. He should not be way over here and growing all the way this way, or this way, or that way, or that way. So I'm going to have to come in here and do some trimming. But everything just looks amazing. Even though this weather is bizarre, it's created a beautiful jungle in here. And over here, this is where I normally grow my peas. And I mentioned this on another video, but I decided not to grow a lot of peas this year because I really only use them for snacking in the garden, and I really wanted to do pole beans closer to the house. And then I realized I didn't have any, and I had made a commitment to myself not to buy any seeds this year because I have hundreds of seeds packets and they're only viable for so long. I mean, yes, you can always get them, but get them to produce at some capacity, but the viability rate goes down over time. So I don't have very many peas, and down here I just have some bush green beans planted. I'm not seeing any flowers on those just yet, but otherwise they look pretty good. And in this part of the garden, I've got a ton of tomatoes and lots of tomatoes that are growing. And just, you know, they're here. They just need to ripen and turn up. Here's one of my calendula plants. And this just keeps going and going and going. So this is a very shallow area. These beds are only 5 feet wide, and there's about 2 feet on the other side of it. So this is about 7 feet between this cattle panel and that fence, but it is about 120, 130 feet long. So I really squish beds in here. I've got more calendula in this bed. And I didn't plant any. I did not plant any calendula. These are all volunteers. So I've got some calendula here. More tomatoes, lots more tomatoes, and in every bed with the tomatoes, I've got some basil plants. I had some extra tomato plants, so I do have them in grow bags on the outside of the garden, all the way. I have in here, in this area here, this is just kind of a jungle in here, but I do have a volunteer nasturtium in here. I have a whole bunch more of hibiscus in here that is going to flower very, very soon. And then I have some purple coneflower or echinacea back in here as well. And then more calendula that's seeded from last year as well. So free flowers all over the place here. So pretty. I can't wait for those hibiscus to bloom. Over here, I have my balloon flowers and then some echinacea that is not supposed to be in these containers, but the seeds blew and they seeded themselves right in these containers. And this is where we're going to go in. So this is just a cattle panel fence, and I have cut down little sections that I have zip tied on this side, and I have a carabiner on this side to lock it so the dogs can't go in there because they'll dig in my garden. Got some lilies going on right here. Lots of lilies here. Flowers in the garden bring pollinators, and we need pollinators. And just inside the garden, I have a bunch of ground cherries in these containers down here. So a whole bunch of ground cherries. They're super tall. They come up to my chest at least at this point. And over here, I have my elecampane flowers, and they are just starting to bloom up top here. They're pretty tall. We'll have some blooming out here as well soon. Here's a view of the middle part of my garden in this direction, but I really want to focus with you today on the lower part of the garden. So here is the first zucchini plant, and the only thing I did different this year with my zucchini is that I mean, look at these massive leaves. I never ever get zucchini like this. The only thing different I did was I put them inside of tomato cages this year, and I covered the tomato cages with tulle, and I secured the tulle down with clips, and I just left it like that until these were really pushing up against the tulle and they absolutely needed to come out. And then I took them off and I said good luck, and was just hoping, this is a weed, I was just hoping that they would be big enough to withstand any damage that might happen from the cucumber beetle. So we'll take those off. I've got a volunteer borage plant that self-seeded itself in here from last year, but take a look at this plant. And I don't know if you can see behind there, but there is one monster zucchini that we have to get off. Let's see if we can go on the other side and get a better look at him. Look at this guy. He's massive. Let me see if I can twist him off and not drop him. Yeah, that is a big zucchini. Love it. I love it. I don't mind that he's massive. So let me set him down. We got to go to the next one. And I'm going to put these in some shopping bags. That's going to be an easier way for me to carry them in. I've got my herbs, some of my herbs here. This is lemon balm. Back here, I've got a couple different kinds of thyme. And I've got my oregano in here and more lemon balm. But everything is just absolutely exploded. So lemon balm, I know it's hard to see. I'm not really good with the camera yet. Sorry about that. And then this is oregano. I definitely want to do more oregano soon. I always run out of this. I use it a lot in culinary. And then here is one of my thyme plants. Oh, it just smells so good back here. Okay, And I've got eggplants and such in there, but like I have some eggplant flowers in there, but I have no eggplants yet, hardly any eggplants yet. I've got more tomatoes in here that are growing up this trellis. These are my canning tomatoes, my plum tomatoes. I've got basil in every bed next to tomatoes. And here is my next zucchini plant. Look at this. Look how tall this is growing up through that tomato cage. So let's get the zucchini that are on here. Okay, this one looks pretty good right here for people. That is a good looking size zucchini. Put him down over here again. There's the difference. Wait till you see the next one. Look at this guy. I don't think I've ever seen one so big, certainly not in my garden. This might even be a two-hander. Oh yeah, he's heavy. I can't even show you this in one view. He's massive. Look at that. We thought this one was big. This one's even bigger. Look at all the peppers I have on here. We're gonna get those too. And more on here. And one more on here. And these were extra peppers that I just threw in containers. So that was this plant. We still have flowers on here. Now zucchini flowers will only open in the morning, so that's why he's not showing himself. But lots of tomatoes back there. More tomatoes in this bed right here. These are the little tomato clips I use to tie everything to a trellis, which you can see right here. I use these clips. They go around the trellis and then around one of the stems. Okay, here's another zucchini plant right here. He's also in a tomato cage, and he also has a nice size zucchini in there. So let's grab that one. Oh, an even bigger one down here. So I was going for this one right here. This one is nice and small. He's going to be really tender. This one is going to be a monster if I don't get him right now. Get a nice little haul there. We're not done. Next is the yellow squash. Are you ready for that? Look at this. What? I do not grow squash like this. Oh, there's a pepper in here I need to grab. And I will grab these peppers too. And this borage is a volunteer. I didn't plant one here last year. The seeds just blew over here, and now I have free borage there. I'm going to get these peppers. He's tangled up. There we go. I think these are my Hungarian hots. I'll know when I taste them. And we've got some left here that are not quite ready, so we'll have more to pick later. So I've got to grab those, and I'll have to grab these. And in this little tiny bed here, let me show you this little tiny bed. This little very narrow but long bed. I have my bush beans here in the front loaded with flowers, and then my pole beans behind them growing up this trellis here. So that goes all the way down this way. I am just in awe. It's so exciting. There, we've got one right here. Just gonna set him right there for now. Get this guy. I'm just twisting them off the plant. Just a little twist. Get this guy. And this one. Looks like we have a little pepper here too. All right, let's check down here. Got tomatillas on this trellis here, and then a whole bunch of peppers in this bed. I have more eggplants in this bed and more peppers. I can see some shishitos. This plant right here. Got some pretty peppers here. I think these are the black Hungarians. I'll wait to pick those. They're not quite ready yet. I want them all black before I pick them. And over here I've got some more eggplants, but no, not even any flowers off of those. So not a good year for eggplant, which is really unfortunate. That is what I wanted to have a bumper crop of this year. That's what happens when you make plans in God's garden, right? Okay, now I have tomatoes growing all over my yard this year. Here's a tomato plant. There's actually 2 in here. I did not plant tomatoes in here. And in my walkway outside of the fence, I've also picked 4 or 5 pretty significant sized tomato plants. They have just spread. I'm just gonna let these guys do what they're gonna do. The squash in here look pretty good. I don't see any fruit on these yet, but I do see some flowers and they're trailing nicely. But I did spy one butternut squash in here already. Yep, there he is. You see that? So I'm going to get at least 1 winter squash this year, hopefully more. And then these gorgeous ones right here, those are my huckleberries, and they are flowering. So I should be getting some huckleberries off of those this summer. I need to grab these. I need to grab those peppers. It's too early for tomatoes, but we definitely have, you know, lots of fruit forming everywhere. And I just can't get over the health of this plant. He's up to my shoulders. I've never grown squash that looks like this. My tomato plants look really good. They totally got away from me. I didn't single stem them. They have just exploded when I wasn't looking, and that will happen if you don't keep your eye on things. Over here I've got mint. So this is my mint barrel. Down in here there is a barrel. This is my comfrey. This is my favorite. If I had to pick a favorite garden plant, this would be it. I make my own comfrey salve and I use it regularly for aches and pains and bruises and, you know, things that go bump in the night, which I do often. So that is something that I use on a regular basis. And there's my zucchini haul, which I'm thrilled with. That's more than I usually get in a whole season, and that's just my first picking. I come in here. I don't see any eggplants yet on these. I mean, the plants look beautiful. It just flowers so far. And then this is another tomatilla, couple tomatilla plants in here. I think I'm going to nix the idea of picking the calendula flowers today because it's late in the day. They're not at their peak. That really has to be done in the morning. So I will try to get that tomorrow on Saturday so I can still include it in this video. And let's just get what I have picked inside. I haven't even looked at the upper part of the garden, but this is about all I have time for right now. I'm still in my work clothes. Got a lot to do today, so let's get the zucchini going. This will be my first picking of this season. I am pickled. We've got some peppers here as well. Let's line these up a little better if I can. Look at this monster. It's like a child. Now this is going to be a super sweet, tender zucchini. I will find something to do with this for an upcoming Tasty Tuesday recipe, because I think I already have one Tasty Tuesday already uploaded, ready to go for this Tuesday. But we will make something zucchini. I might even make zucchini lasagna boats out of these. This is a good size one for that. These two definitely are too big to be enjoyed as a sliced cooked zucchini, but they can still be used. They can absolutely still be used. Sliced down the middle, seeds taken out because the seeds are massive at this point, and then shredded down. And you can use that in zucchini bread, zucchini muffins, but in my case, more often than not, I'm using it in the dog food since I make that every week for my dogs. I am absolutely thrilled. Look at my harvest. I've never been able to grow this much squash at one time, ever. I don't know what it is about this year, this weather, this season, the never-ending heat wave, the humidity, the downpours. It's working for my zucchini. We'll see what it does with the rest. We'll see. The blackberries look amazing. The tomatoes are coming on. The green beans are growing, starting to flower. I think it's going to be a good year, and it might just be the year of the zucchini instead of the year of the eggplant. Those I can always source at the farmer's market too. Fingers still crossed for those. It is 6 o'clock in the evening, and I promised my niece I would help her with something. I promised I would dedicate some time to that tonight early, since we're in different time zones. So I am just going to pop these in the refrigerator overnight, and then I will get them cut down, scooped out, shredded up, packaged up, put in the freezer. It will be tomorrow, and hopefully I can also get those calendula flowers picked as well. So for tonight, I'll just say see you in the morning. Okay, so I put most of the zucchini in the fridge, actually all of it, all of the squash in the fridge, but I decided I needed to have some since it's my first harvest, and some of those peppers too. So I made pork chops in this pan. I always do that with a little olive oil. A little bit of fat comes off with those pork chops. Added a little bit of butter to the pan. Chopped up my vegetables, threw them in. Added some salt, some pepper, and some homegrown freeze-dried marjoram. And this is looking fantastic. This smells amazing. About ready to flip this. There we go. Once flipped. I wish you could be here to smell this. It smells amazing. That's what's for dinner. It's the next morning, and we are gonna get some flowers picked. I'm wearing my flower shirt to do that. So I'm starting on my deck because I do have some volunteer calendula in my green stock this year. So we're gonna start there. We don't have a lot of flowers on here that are ready, but I think I see one that we can use. Yeah, that one looks lovely. So I'm just gonna pop him off. We got another little one right here as well. I'm just gonna put them in my little Kelly harvest basket. So we've got a lot of buds that are gonna come up on here. Some flowers, you know, are past their prime, so I'm not gonna be picking those. Look how glorious this looks. I don't know with the sun if you can see that, but I can see all of these berries just hanging down. Again, the cucumber plants are going crazy. Looks so lovely. And then of course we've got this big monster, these stems going everywhere. This blackberry bush is out of control. But let's go get some more flowers. Look at this glorious mess. All right, here's our first stop. This again is a volunteer just from seeds that had blown and landed over here. I think this is a mix of a couple different kinds of plants in here, but just lovely. I'm gonna take him
Just gonna pop him off. More for later on that plant. Look at this echinacea. Get the bees buzzing around. Lovely pollinators. All right, we've got some more calendula down here. Again, these are all volunteers. I didn't have to plant any of this. Let's start on this end. I'm gonna deadhead some of these too. These are done, these flowers are done. Just gonna take them off. It'll encourage more flowers to grow and eliminate viable seeds from dropping here and creating a bigger jungle next year. I will let some seeds fall. But these guys are past their prime. They can come off. Got some on here that need to be deadheaded. This guy's a little past his prime. This one looks lovely. Lovely guy here. I'm not seeing any more yet. This guy's good. This guy's still young. Look at the balloon flowers. Look how lovely those are. Still early enough in the morning where the sun hasn't heated everything up yet. But we're gonna go in right here. And we've got more cone flowers in here. Like I said, they grew in these containers I had, growing other stuff in, but they've taken over. They're just so lovely. I love these balloon flowers. But we're on the hunt for some calendula. And I've got some, I've got a pepper I need to pick. I'll go ahead and get that while I'm here. I don't have my scissors with me. I was only planning on getting flowers. More calendula. My beds are very close together because I'm growing in a small space. So there is not much space to walk through here, but I make do. I got red onions bulbing up. Look at these peppers. See these? This is called intense gardening or square foot gardening. Let's get some of these flowers. And we still have buds on these plants, so more to come. So I've got a bit and one more plant in there to pull from. Leaving some for the pollinators. These guys will open beautifully soon. And now we're back in the cucumber patch here because I want to get a couple of these cucumbers. I don't want to smush my flowers. There we go. Another one right here. It's ready to come in. More on the vine and tons of flowers. I'm just digging these berries and how they look on this trellis. Floated, they're everywhere. Got some flowers, a pepper, and some cucumbers. So let's go in because we have to get that squash processed. So totally happy here with what I got out of the garden yesterday and this morning. A lot of summer squash. Most of this I am going to freeze dry. Well, freeze and or freeze dry. So for example, this monster here, as well as this monster, those are definitely going to be dog food. So I will get those shredded down. And then this one I'm going to keep for a meal. I will make something with this for my Tasty Tuesday. And I'm going to keep this one and this one. And I think you saw that I actually cooked one last night. I couldn't wait. Most of the yellows are going to go into the dog food as well. And that is really just going to help me offset the bill that I have for my dog food. I got some cucumbers, another pepper, and then these gorgeous calendula flowers here as well. This isn't a big haul for the flowers, and that's okay because I'm going to be freeze drying them so they'll be dry, and I'm just going to keep adding to that over the course of the summer as these flowers bloom. And then towards the end of the summer when the plants are done, I will accumulate everything that I have freeze dried, and then I will make my product with it, and I will of course do that on camera for a video, but that's not going to be for a while. I'm not going to get these shredded up or anything on this video because that will be for my freeze dry video, but I'm just kind of talking you through what I plan to do with these. But I did want to say thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Sunday Funday, joining me for a walk through my garden and allowing me to showcase
some of what I pulled out of the garden this week. And I do hope that you come back and visit again soon.